Ladies and gentlemen,
only the best internet radio station in the world.
oh yeah!
No, the universe.
The Kota iRadio Network.
Back by popular demand.
Woo!
Now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
I'm your DJ.
DjBBQ.
It's done over 400 events.
Oh yeah!
5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air.
Let's get ready to rumble! This is Uncut Live. Now, here's DjBBQ. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is DjBBQ of the KotaiRadio Network on UnCut Live, and I'm here with Danny LimeLight. He is born and raised out of Brooklyn, New York. He was bitten by a radioactive spider, and he's a professional wrestling superstar. Danny, thank you for being on the show, and I appreciate you reaching out.
Hey, bro, what's going on, mi gente? Nice to meet you officially. Thanks for having me on the show, man. Thanks for the introduction. You made me sound like a superstar, bro. How's everything?
Doing good. How is the weather down in the Keys in the Florida?
It's beautiful, bro. I'm like right here, I have like a whole like balcony view with like the water and the bridge and stuff like that. It's nice, man. It's really nice out here.
So now I'm a little upset because I'm here in 13-degree weather and you're in sunny Florida.
Yeah, I'm in Florida right now, but don't be too jealous, man. I've never been to South Dakota, so I gotta come out there someday.
If you're not used to, well, you were born and raised in New York, so you'll be able to handle the cold. But I'm just saying, right now, your body would just be freezing right now, and you'd be hating life. You'd be like, go back to Florida.
I felt 13-degree weather, and I don't know how long I've been so the SoCal weather, the Florida weather, and stuff like that. So,
as a resident South Dakotan in the cold weather, do not come. Do not go back to the cold weather. Stay in that warm weather as long as you possibly can.
I take your advice then.
Cole Dawson is one of the co-owners of the podcast, and he has a question for you.
Okay.
He basically wants to know what really hooked you to get in the business.
Man, I'm like an adrenaline junkie. I like that adrenaline rush. I like the feel of like trying new things. I like the feel of, when I start something, wanting to be the best. Obviously, I was a wrestling fan. Growing up, the earliest that I can remember would be 97 Taker and Michaels and Bad Blood.
Nice.
And The Rock is what really hooked me into being a wrestling fan. The way he cut promos, the way that he wrestled, his electricity, just everything about The Rock made me like fall in love with wrestling.
Yeah.
And then when he left, it was Eddie Guerrero that hooked me. Then I stopped watching it and stuff like that and came back into it randomly, and once I started training, I just wasn't satisfied with where I was at. So I wanted to keep grinding until I was able to do the things that I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be, a superstar. Obviously, I don't think anybody starts something and they don't want to be good at it.
Right.
What just kept me hooked was just, the fans, the energy that I got, the feeling I got in the ring, and just wanted to continue to climb the ladder. And this year has been like a blessing, bro.
Right on. What, take us back to like when you were a little guy in Brooklyn. Like, what really got you like hooked at the show? What was the first match that you seen?
Yeah, the first thing that I can really remember was the Hell in a Cell, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Right on.
Now, and ruining the match for Taker, and just like hearing them scream, "That's got to be Kane," and then
right,
just that whole story, was what really grabbed me. And I think that the storytelling in wrestling is what keeps me, interested in it, or at least when I was younger, for sure. Now obviously when I watch, I'm watching to see what people are doing and, the stories they're telling, the psychology. Like, I study it more as an artist, as a fan when I watch now.
Right.
And so that would be the first match that I remember, like really like, whoa, like this is so cool, and then all the DX segments, all the Rock segments. And I think that what made me realize how big of a star, wrestling can make you, or impact you can have on somebody, would be, WrestleMania 18, Rock and Hogan, just the way that it was. I could just imagine what the energy, like, and the goosebumps would feel like if I was in one of their shoes in that match,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, like, really made me like, wow, like this is something that I want to do. But obviously, being a young kid from New York, it wasn't like logical. I didn't know anything about independent wrestling. I didn't know anything about any other wrestling company. I only knew WWF and WCW, and then WCW went away because WWF bought them. So I didn't know that I could do it. I wasn't 6 feet. I wasn't 200-something pounds. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what I saw on TV wasn't me. And so I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't think it was something that could happen until I landed in California, and while I was in the Marine Corps, I found the wrestling school, like it just all fell into place, and I started grinding and I started working hard, and this shit wasn't easy at first, man. Like I watched my old matches, and I used to think that I was good, and I'm like, man, what the fuck was I doing?
Right.
Now I'm like, just now I feel like I'm really hitting my groove. I'm really hitting that stride of, I know where I'm at. I know what I'm doing. I know who Danny LimeLight is, who I am. And now things are just falling into place.
Right. Say, just to tell you a little bit about me, when I saw the card set up for AEW Dark, which you're going to be, battling tonight against Brandon Cutler, I go back and I look at matches. I go to YouTube and search the individual who's facing, that's brand new, that's do all that. I'm all about the independent wrestling, all about the up and starts and all that. So I seen some of your matches, and I see where you have that Shawn Michaels, that Undertaker, and that Eddie Guerrero like mixture, all three of them mixed into one. Now, you said that you were in California. Who was your mentor there and your trainer that you went to start, training for professional wrestling?
Oh man, I don't even talk about them no more. I don't give them no clout because they kicked me out their school 9 months in the business because I started wrestling at another company.
Okay.
Independent professional wrestler, I should be able to wrestle wherever the fuck I want.
Right.
So they kicked me out. They blacklisted me. They told me I'd never wrestle again. And this was in 2015. 2 weeks after that happened, David Marquez from United Wrestling Network, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Primetime Live, he's done everything, right? He called. We have a long conversation. And, 9-10 months in the business, he tells me, I'm bringing you to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Right.
National television. And I was like, I don't know anything about national television. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for this. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think I'm ready for this. But I'm not going to tell him that because I want to wrestle. So I'm like, let's do it. He brings me, and then I'm Los Primos Rivera on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and I'm wrestling on TV. And I think that's what really got the door open, and that's what really got me rocking and rolling, was being thrown into an environment with world-class athletes like Scorpio Sky, Peter Avalon, those guys that were all like Drew Gulak at the time was there, Timothy Thatcher at the time was there, Will Hobbs was there.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys that you see now on, AEW, WWE, were the guys there, and that's where I met Rocky Romero, who brought me to New Japan. That's where I met all these people. That's where I decided that I need to step my game up and really train hard. So David Marquez gets all the credit to my career as a wrestler, because if he didn't give me that chance when everybody else in the independent scene didn't want to book me because of what one promoter said,
right,
I wouldn't be wrestling now. And, it was through my working relationship with him, my professional relationship with him, where I started getting more bookings. I started wrestling for bigger companies. I ended up heading out to the Crash in Mexico because Conan saw me wrestle and liked me. And then Conan brought me to AAA. And David Marquez just made me a mainstay on the United Wrestling Network. And, then because of my relationship with Rocky Romero that I had met, at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, he was the one that invited me out to the New Japan tryout last year. And that's what got my foot in the door with New Japan this year, and then Eric's Primetime Live started, and David Marquez wanted me to be part of that as well, and I've been on that show almost every week now, and because of David Marquez, so I'm thankful to him for that. And then, then the AEW stuff happened. So wrestling, technically I started training to be a wrestler in August of 2014. I made my debut in October of 2014. And then I took a 2-year break, like at the end of 2016, because I went to go be a Marine Corps drone instructor, so I didn't have time to wrestle. So I was away for 2 years, and I came back 2018. So I really have only been wrestling like 4 years, but it's been an amazing 4 years, and you know, the people that I've worked with, you know, I'm so thankful for. You know, when I came back in 2018, I started training with Mariachi Loco and Little Cholo. They're SoCal guys, you know, they were on Lucha Underground, things like that. They're the one that set my Lucha Libre game up, you know. And then I started training with Luchasaurus. I started training with Jungle Boy, John Morrison, you know, Jake Atlas. I started having these one-on-one sessions and just grinding with some of the best to do it, you know. And when you grind with people that are great, you know, you end up getting better, you know. So that's how that happened for me.
One of the greatest things that I take away from the story that you just told me about your life is how you took that negative, and I say that to all the kids in youth football that I've coached. You take that negative and you use that as fuel to feed your energy, to push yourself to get that success, and that's a lot of great success stories handled from that. What was the one thing that you want people to know about when they decide to go into the military? And I thank you for your service, by the way. My brother-in-law is actually deployed right now. But what's one thing that the youth that listens to this that should know about that when they're making that decision? Because that's inspirational.
Man, the best thing that I ever did was join the Marine Corps. I think that my dream job, aside from wrestling and acting, which is what I do now, once I didn't think that it was possible for me to do that, I wanted to play baseball. And then when I couldn't play baseball for the Yankees, like, I didn't have any plans. I didn't have any, like, you know, ambitions to do anything. I joined the Marine Corps, and that shit set me up for life. I spent 10 years in the Marines. You know, I achieved the rank of staff sergeant. I was a drone instructor, made over 350 Marines. You know, I was a Marine Corps martial arts instructor, taught the Marine Corps martial arts program, trained over 400-something Marines in the martial arts program, traveled the world, you know. On top of that, I met my daughter's mom in the military. She's still in the Marine Corps. You know, I had a kid. The Marine Corps helped me with everything I needed to do to be able to raise a kid, be a father. Like, it just, like, molded me and, like, really shaped who I am, character-wise, discipline-wise. Because I was a little hot boy, you know, I was a little immature, reckless kid, you know. And the Marine Corps kind of, like, slowly chipped away all that and kind of molded me into who I am now. And I'm super thankful for the military. I'm thankful for everything that it did for my career, what it did for my life, how it set me up for success. And there's people that you don't know what to do if you don't, you know, have a full ride scholarship, man. The Marine Corps is the best branch in the military, and I'm not saying that because Marine is facts. You look at the numbers, it's the best branch. If you don't have, you know, plans or anything like that, man, do 4 years. We're not really in a time of war, so if you're afraid of a fight, like, that's not really happening right now. But you're gonna get school benefits, you're gonna get medical benefits, you're gonna get dental benefits. Like, you're gonna get a steady paycheck in a time where people's work is uncertain because of quarantine, you know. And they'll take the Marine Corps and even all military in general. They take care of you, man. Yeah, there's every job has their issues and stuff like that. But right now, I go to school because of the Marine Corps. You know, like, they pay for my school now. So on top of everything else that I'm doing, I'm getting an education, and that's all from the military. I don't think I would be able to do this wrestling full time if I wasn't in the military prior. You know what I'm saying? Like, set me up that well to, like, where I can just really take the time to pursue my career in wrestling, to be able to go to all these auditions for acting and stunts that I do and stuff like that, and really just all the networking, all the people I've met, you know, in the military. You meet some amazing people out there. And there's some amazing people out there that I met that I consider brothers and sisters from the military that are doing amazing things in the world right now outside of it. So it really sets you up, man.
Right on.
I'm not a recruiter. I don't make any money if anybody joined the military, nothing like that. My daughter's mom, she's a recruiter right now. But the military is something that if you don't have any plans, it's an option. And, you know, it's just 4 years. That shit flies by, and who knows, you might make a career out of it.
Right. Well, God bless you. God bless your wife, and God bless your whole family as a whole. The service is appreciated.
Single.
Okay. Well, let me slap myself in the face for that one and saying that.
But she's an amazing woman, man. That's my daughter's mom. I got no baby mama drama. You know,
Right on.
I'm super grateful that's the kind of woman she is. And my daughter gets the best of both worlds. You know.
Right. It took me a while to get no baby drama with my son's mom. Yeah, like it took me a while. Everything's good now at peace. Thank the Lord. I was going to mention about the acting here a little bit later in the show, but since you brought it up, let's talk about that. What are some of the things that you've been doing, or have you been in any of the movies that people don't know about that you'd like to have people know?
I just one of the commercials I did was Zaxby's just aired. The Zaxby's chicken sandwich commercial that just aired. They had us in this whole little like military kind of thing, so it was kind of cool putting back a uniform.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I just did that. We promoted the new Zaxby's chicken sandwich. I was just in John Morrison's new film, or John Hennigan, excuse me, it's his real name. John Hennigan's new movie, Speed of Time. Right on. You guys know him as John Morrison from WWE or Johnny Mundo from Lucha Underground, where I did all the stunts. I played the Time Borgs, all the bad guys that he was basically beating up the whole film. I was the one that he was beating up. You know, me and this other wrestler, Gringo Loco, Charlie DeSantos is his name from, you've seen him on GCW and MLW. Yeah. Me and him were both playing the villains in the film, and multiple times John Morrison was just whooping our ass throughout. So it was kind of cool to do the stunts like that. I got to do like a stair fall. I got to get like kicked through like a wall, basically, things like that. So that was cool. On top of that, I write and produce and direct and star in my own films. I got a lot of short films that I've done, but right now the biggest one that I've done is in post-production. It's called Joe Riv, and it's currently in post-production. And once that is completed and ready for viewing, it's going to go to Amazon for people to see, as well as film festivals. Hopefully we can, win something at some festivals. But basically it's about this soldier, special forces guy who was KIA for 3 years because of a top secret mission. So everybody in his family thought he's been dead for 3 years. His fiance, his family, they thought he'd been dead, but he wasn't. He just had to say he was, and so the film picks up 3 years after he supposedly died, and his sister is killed in a nightclub by these gang members. And so basically he comes back to town to find who killed his sister, and it's just nonstop action. I played Joe Riv. It was very much inspired by John Wick. Me and Keanu Reeves have the same birthday.
So right on.
One of the actors I looked up to, and then I just loved the John Wick films. And I wanted to make something very similar, so I came up with Joe Riv, and it's really good acting, really good action scenes. I'm doing a lot of 2-on-1 fights, 3-on-1 fights. I think I have a 4-on-1 fight, knife fights, things like that. So it was fun. I got to work with stunt coordinator Nick Herms, who did a lot of work on the Transformers movies, the Mr. and Mrs. Smith movies. Those big action films that everybody loves. He had a huge part in those. And so he came and he helped me on set. It's directed by Miko Sad, who's an Egyptian and British actor, filmmaker. Okay. He's an amazing man. He's actually working on season 2 of his show right now. And then I worked with Lauren Mendez, who's the lead actress. She plays my fiance. So that was cool. And I got to work with some amazing stunt guys coming out there and just like really taking an ass whooping. The majority of the film takes place in a nightclub. So it's kind of fun to do all that. And we really brought it to life. So I'm excited for everybody to watch it, man. I put a lot of thought and passion into this. I put a lot of did you hear that?
Florida. Yeah, I'm still envious. I'm in the cold, and you got all these plains and sunny weather.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought and effort into the fight sequences and things like that, and I really wanted to tell a cool story in every fight, kind of built it like a wrestling match, if you would say. Yeah. But you're not going to see me doing like no Hurricane Ranas or anything like that. But the concept is very much storytelling, like a wrestling match. So I had fun with it, man. I can't wait for everybody to see it. I really, really think that it's going to be a fun movie. It's probably going to run about 15 minutes. And yeah, once it's out, I'll be promoting it all over. So you guys can check it out on Amazon and things like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get the link and everything and all the information on that so we can advertise that. As you can see, I'm a pretty pushy as advertising goes on Twitter. Right. Like after you reach out,
as soon as I get off this, I'm gonna go on Twitter and look at it. I was like, when you called me, you had just like you already.
Yeah. But like if you could tell from last night, I kept pushing out like tweets to advertise and all this. I probably annoyed the hell out of I'm just a big billboard. I'd like to push all that out there. So a question for you, because there's probably some people in the same situation as you used to be. Now, you told us about your military experience and what it takes to go in there and decide that choice. Take us back to where you were making that decision to get back into pro wrestling, and how big of a decision was that for you?
It wasn't that big of a decision. I once I left the business, I was kind of like one of the hot up and coming wrestlers out of SoCal. You know, I didn't have that big of a buzz as I do now, but I was like making all the big independent shows. So I missed it immediately. You know, like I really missed it. And in my head, I was like, you know, eventually when this is done, I want to get back to it. Like I already knew that once I was done as a drone instructor, I was gonna try to get back into wrestling.
Okay.
Fortunately for me, I ended up getting lucky, and when I came back, things really kind of got the ball rolling faster than I expected. And a part of that was because, you know, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood brought me back. You know, the Crash wanted me back in Mexico. So I was making the big shows that I could make, and trying to get my name back out there and just showing consistency. I was able to, you know, get in the ring with some of the guys that ended up, you know, being signed and helping me get my name out there again. You know, I was in the ring with, you know, Chris Bay, you know, 3 times since I came back to wrestling already. You know, end of 2018 and then 2 times in 2019 we wrestled. So Chris Bay was one of the guys that kind of helped me get back into it. You know, training with those guys that I told you that I trained with earlier.
Right.
You know, just kind of being in the right place at the right time and working my ass off. You know, at 2018, I won 3 championships with 3 different companies and just started traveling around and defending the championships everywhere. Then I started making a lot of East Coast bookings and things like that. I started doing the Evolve seminars and coming out for the Evolve shows and then wrestling for ACW in Florida. AAA hit me back up. Conan got me out there. So I kind of just got lucky that, you know, I was gone for 2 years. It kind of gave me like a fresh restart.
Yeah.
But people still kind of remembered who I was. And so when I started wrestling in SoCal again, it kind of started getting, you know, snowballed. And in 2019 ended up being the biggest year for me at the time. And kind of really, you know, made my Impact debut, you know, did some stuff with WWE and did the, you know, the New Japan tryout and things like that. And I was like, man, you know, I had a 2020 vision. I was like, you know, I really have an idea of where I want things to go this year. I did not expect for it to get like this. So,
yeah,
you know, like, especially when the pandemic hit, I was like, fuck, this is going to slow me down. But I had the vision, you know, I manifested what I wanted, and then it just kept going, you know, and then all these calls happening. And I was like, fuck, like, I'm really doing this, you know, and it's been the best year of my life, not only because wrestling, you know, but it was my first full year out of the Marine Corps, right? So I got out of the Marine Corps in October of 2019. So my first full year outside the military, you know, wrestling with New Japan, wrestling with AEW, wrestling with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Primetime. Like, I'm on TV 4 times a week, basically. Traveling all over. I've spent fucking the most time in a hotel this year than I've ever done in my entire life combined. Meeting new people. You know, my relationship with my daughter is the best it's ever been because I have more time now that I'm not in the military. My relationship with my family is better. You know, like, I just feel good, man. I'm so happy. And it's amazing, man. It's amazing that when you bet on yourself and you really put in the work and you grind and you want it, like, everything else just falls into place too. And I'm super.
I just gotta wonder, is the style of wrestling that when you first started, you know how they always say, like, there's a difference between eras and all that. Did anything change from when you first started to where you then went back into the business here in 2019 to 2020?
Yeah, I think that a lot changed. More specifically, my own work changed. You know, I look at some of my old matches, and I really was trying to do, back in the day, I was trying to do everything that I seen everybody else doing. You know, I try to do all the moves that everybody else was doing and getting a pop for, and, like, people becoming little gifs for, and, like, oh, if I do a Canadian Destroyer off the top rope, I'll get booked more, you know?
Right.
Like that. And when I came back, I told myself, like, I'm not gonna do this shit. Like, I'm not gonna do the moves that everybody else does. I'm not gonna wrestle the way everybody else wrestles. I want to be myself. I want to be Danny LimeLight, and I'm talented enough. I'm athletic enough, and I have a background in martial arts. I have a background in boxing. I have a background in parkour. Like, I could just put all this shit together,
right,
and really just be more comfortable in who I am. And I think if people look at my matches this year, the stuff that I do in the ring is a lot more innovative. It's different. Nobody else is doing it. Even my finishing moves, you know, my big moves, I mix things up and I make it mine. And I don't see anybody doing these kind of stuff. And so it helps me stand out more, and I'm more comfortable, and it feels more natural, you know, like
right.
I'd rather put the body in an arm bar now instead of throwing a super kick. You know, I'd rather, you know, somebody in a rear naked guillotine choke or hit them with a freaking kick than do a Canadian destroyer. And there's nothing against people that do that. Like, I'm not shitting on that. I want to be different. I want to do things my way now, and I'm happy. You know, like, my style's changed. Wrestling has changed. Wrestling is constantly evolving. And I think that it's a good thing. I think that it's good that it continues to grow. It continues to evolve, because there's always going to be new fans. There's always going to be new things, new trends, or whatever. And as long as we don't stay stagnant and stuck in the same bubble, you know, I think that wrestling will be better and better with each year coming forward, man. It's been a huge year for wrestling, and I feel like it's only going to get bigger.
Right. Well, we're going to get down towards the end of the show here, and we don't want to take and get everything out there before you go on to the Pro Wrestling Uncut show with Cole and Ron. We're going to start doing the questions that we usually do towards the end of the show of an hour. So I got like 3 questions that I usually ask the guests. They're just random. Okay. They're not about pro wrestling, you know, because you've probably been asked the same thing every day, you know, anytime that you've been on. So here's my question.
Yeah.
Being from New York, do you like the Mets, the Yankees, or since you're in California, do you like the Dodgers?
I'm a Yankees fan for life, puppy.
There you go. There you go. Okay. So do you like, I would say, barbecue food or fast food?
It depends on the barbecue food, because I love like barbecue ribs and barbecue chicken.
Right
but
on.
then I like fast food if I'm on the go.
Right on.
So who's cooking the barbecue food?
Right on. Well, here's the big question, and I always ask, but you know, everybody debates it. Do you drink Pepsi or do you drink Coke?
I don't drink soda at all.
There you go. There's the winner.
I don't drink soda at all.
No, just three random questions. But no, man, I was like, I dropped, surprised when you reached out. I appreciated it. Ron and Cole appreciated it. Let's just give you this platform for these last couple minutes. Just tell everybody
man.
all the information.
Like, thank you for having me on. I can't wait to do the other show with your other boys and stuff like that. That'll be fun. But thank you so much, DjBBQ, for bringing me. I'm not hard to find. Anybody's looking for me, they can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Danny LimeLight. And go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny LimeLight. Check out my merchandise. Thank you so much, guys. And I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah, we'll definitely get everything in a link below. Okay. I'll put this on YouTube. I'll advertise it on all of our social media and all that. I thank you very much. I appreciate that you reached out. My name is DjBBQ. This is Danny LimeLight. Dude, check him out tonight. AEW Dark. The show will drop today. And you know what? Go kick Brandon Cutler's ass, because this ain't no D&D.
No, it ain't.
KotaiRadio Network is brought to you by Midwest All Pro Wrestling. Go to MidwestAllProWrestling.com and get tickets today. Remedy Brewing Company. It's the cure for what ails you. Jekyll and Hyde Barbecue. Jekyll and Hyde Barbecue makes barbecue so good, it'll put a smile on your face. And Kotai Radio Network is powered by KBack.Rock. Rock radio the way rock radio should be. Go to KBackRadio.com and listen today.